about to get real, keep it live, that's right. From Pennsylvania to across the globe, it's time for the Steelers All-Star Show.
Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James Strong, joined once again by my co-hosts Cody Tanner and Jill from Ohio. How are you folks doing on this Monday evening?
Would be better if we had won yesterday. This was Victory Monday. I'd be great. Cody, how are you doing?
I survived COVID round 3. So, Jill, thanks for making me seem like a weakling. When you guys last episode were like, Cody's sick. Jill's like, I'm here. I'm like, I was not having it. I watched that back and I was like, what the heck? No, but I survived COVID again. We're doing just fine. I want to shout out you guys. You did a good job talking about the Charlie Kirk thing and the school shootings. I'm not going to revisit it other than say you guys did a good job, or I will be here for 20 minutes talking about it. So, James, how are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. If we're gonna adjust Madden ratings, I guess that means Jill's toughness goes up to 99 for toughing it out and going through the shows. Cody's injury probability goes up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Jill messaged. Well, Nick. If you realize, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening, Nick's not here. Nick's not feeling well. Jill also just got her eyes dilated and all done up, so she's struggling. Done up. I don't know. You used a word I've never heard before before the show when you were talking about it.
Getting your eyes dilated?
No, there was something you said about behind the eyes that I was like, I've never heard that word before.
Oh, yeah, because I have type 1 diabetes, so they have to do extra tests to make sure that my eyes are not bleeding in the back. So,
yep.
Which they're not.
After watching that Steelers game, they might be. I don't know.
Separate issue.
Yeah. But let's get into this real quick. So before the game, obviously, Steelers elevated linebacker John Radigan. For game day, and then inactives were unfortunately Joey Porter Jr., Deshaun Elliott, Max Sharping, Adrius Pete, Cesar Otumweyu, close enough, and Derek Harmon. 3 of those guys being basically starters. So unfortunate for that, especially because they were all on defense. And that was kind of the issues from the get-go. So I mean, let's not waste too much time and hop right into it. This game against I don't even remember who we played now. Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks. Wow.
Pitiful.
James?
Tough start, I think a lot of us had some expectations as far as Pittsburgh being able to move the ball with all the injuries in the secondary for Seattle. Seattle did a good job covering up for it by dropping like 7 guys on every pass play. So there just were no windows down the field. There was nowhere to throw it deep, which gave Rodgers no choice but to either try to squeeze it into tight windows down the field or a lot of dump-offs that were 10 yards or less. So very frustrating way to watch the game. Not Rodgers' best performance. He did have some nice throws here and there, some unfortunate and unlucky bounces, a couple drops by some receivers as well. Fryermuth had one deep on the right sideline that he could have brought in. It wasn't the easiest catch in the world, but he got his hands on it. DK had a couple of them also where he got his hands on it and either it got knocked out or he just couldn't bring it in. So not a crisp game for the passing offense, although I did think the pass blocking was a little bit better. I thought they gave Aaron a little bit more time. He just kind of got happy feet because he's sitting back there and he knows somebody's coming at some point, and he's got no one to throw the ball to. So kind of an issue there. All the things that seemed to work well offensively, throwing the ball week 1 did not work well week 2. So they really had to get creative to move the ball. And we're going to talk about the guy who shined on offense when we start talking about running backs. But unfortunately, kind of a hit and miss day for Mr. Rodgers. Not the best for him. Not on Sunday.
No. Yeah, not on Sunday. 18 of 33 for 203. He had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. The 1 interception, honestly, both you could throw up to some extent were Calvin Austin's fault. I think the 1 was a little overthrown, but he could have. The angle that I saw, he could have jumped. I don't know if that would have made a difference or not, but he very much stopped running towards the ball or for the ball. And then the other one was a kind of, it's not called levels, but it was similar to a levels play out on the out routes. You had Pat going deep into the end zone and then him cutting right towards like the pylon. And unfortunately, instead of going back towards the center of the field, he went up towards the corner, which was where Pat was. I think Pat would have caught that touchdown pass had Calvin Austin not put his hand on it. And then there was a pick in the end zone after a phenomenal play that we'll get to here in a second. But
yeah, I agree with you on that. The only way that does not get all the way to Pat is if Calvin gets his hands on it.
Mm-hmm.
That defender would not have been able to make it there and get a play on that ball had it not been tipped beforehand. So a very unfortunate thing. And Calvin's going to learn from that sort of thing. What are the rules when a play breaks down? What is the scramble drill? What are you supposed to do? And where are other guys on the field? Just a little bit of him not understanding where somebody else was crowding the area is what that issue was. But what takes do you have on this, Jill?
Well, I thought our run game was not great, but better than week 1. So yeah. I enjoyed seeing that at least somewhat. This is developing at a very slow rate. I would have liked to see more explosive run play, but I think we only had like 1 or 2, and it was like late in the game. It was like when Seattle basically was like, oh, we've got the game in the bag, so we're not trying as hard. So at least we saw a little bit more of that run development, but not what we need in order to be successful. Like we need to be carrying, we were talking about like yards after a catch and yards, and we're relying a little too much on that instead of actually throwing and getting. So it's like a interesting line we have to walk, because I feel like last season and the season before, it was like you'd catch it on the outside and then there was no yards after the catch. And now it's like we're catching it and we're getting yards after the catch, but it's not consistent enough and it's not explosive enough. So I think there was 1 rush for over 10 yards.
Correct.
1.
A 13-yard Gainwell, and I think that was on that last drive when they were just in a prevent defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One. Like that's just unacceptable, and that will not win games, as we saw on Sunday. So, and same thing with the passing game. I mean, I feel like with DK, I really wanted him to have his revenge game, but then, you have to remember he's not exactly the most consistent with his hands. Like he is good and he's physical, but he's not always great with 100% reception. And so can sometimes be tipping the ball, which is what we saw on Sunday. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more about the run game. I felt like there was at least some improvement. It was nowhere near as pitiful as it was week 1. Still nowhere near good enough, though.
Right.
I loved the effort out of Jalen Warren. I thought he had a lot of nice runs and an even better day receiving the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we might as well put it out there. Jalen Warren was the best player on offense in this game, and I don't think there was a close second.
Nope.
That catch and then run of 65 yards from Jalen Warren was absolutely incredible. He must have broken 5 or 6 tackles on that play. Just his contact balance and how he's able to bounce off of guys and just doesn't go to the ground easy. These are all the things that you love about him and the reason that he got that contract extension. So can't get it in his hands often enough, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But as much as you can't get it in his hands often enough, they got to find a different way to get it in the hands of Caleb Johnson other than on kick returns, because that ain't working.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, here's the play right now. Just a phenomenal job by Jalen Warren. 1, to get away
3,
and realize.
4.
Like, beautiful.
So, yeah, it was the 5th guy that finally got him to the ground, and it was the 5-yard line by then.
Yeah, and it was a phenomenal play in my mind of Jalen realizing, okay, he's got to scramble. I'm going to turn around and get downfield.
Yep.
And he even got held, which wasn't called. But then also a great pass by Aaron as well. So love seeing that.
That's a great job of understanding the situation too. That defender has to make a decision there of either running with Jalen or going after Aaron. So by running downfield, he forces the decision, but also Aaron is highly skilled, so he's going to get that ball to him in that situation. So great job of awareness and great job of execution. Just so frustrating that you get that play all the way down to the 5-yard line and then turn the ball over in the end zone on that drive. Just an absolute morale killer when that kind of thing happens. So
the benefit of that drive in this game overall is I think Aaron Rodgers' confidence in Jaylen Warren has skyrocketed.
I would agree.
Skyrocketed.
Yeah, especially when it looks like Gainwell's kind of like just a body out there.
Yes.
I'm not seeing the explosiveness that we thought we were going to see out of the guy. And why in the world is he getting a goal line run? He's the smallest running back on the team. He's only 200 pounds, and he got a goal line carry and just got absolutely stuffed. He had no chance.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's I think it goes back to even with Cordell Patterson. I thought we saw Cordell Patterson more than we should have. Like we saw enough, and it was like, this is bad. Why is he still there? And I think this is almost Tomlin's way of like loving on his veterans. Like he does it a lot. He brings in a lot of veterans. I think that might be what it is. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm not trying to find a new way to attack Tomlin. James, don't worry.
No, you're good. But I think this is the MO of Arthur Smith. This was his reputation in Atlanta too. Yeah. You know, they spent a high first-round pick on Bijan Robinson, I think it was. And he was the man. Everybody was like, this guy should get the ball 25 times a game. And he was getting 10 carries a game when they were giving second and third string guys all kinds of touches. And it frustrated the living crap out of Falcons fans and fantasy owners that expected that running back to go off, and then he didn't because he just wasn't getting the touches. So it seems to be kind of a trademark of Arthur Smith to, regardless of outcome, make sure that he's spreading the ball around the running back room a lot. And I feel like the shift just needs to change here, where it needs to be a heavier dose of Caleb Johnson running the ball. Yes. Let's let Gainwell do returns.
Thank you.
And let's get these guys in appropriate roles here. Now, I know you need two guys back there, but it just doesn't seem like Caleb Johnson should be returning kicks. He's getting blown up. He's fumbling the ball. He doesn't understand the rules as far as – I was
going to say, let's go there if we're going to go there.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people say, you know, this is on the coaching staff. I don't understand how it could be possible that Danny Smith, as experienced as he is, has never gone over that rule. But I got a theory as to how this happened that Caleb Johnson didn't understand it in week 2. And that's because Caleb didn't return kicks in college. That wasn't his role. And in the preseason, he wasn't on the kick return duty either. So he didn't start returning kicks until week 1 of the regular season. And he probably was not in that special teams meeting when Danny Smith went over these basic things. So for whatever reason, it just was not a rule he was familiar with. And just thinking that he didn't have to worry about it if he didn't touch it. And even if it were old rules, once the ball goes past 10 yards, it's live on a kickoff. Mm-hmm. Now in the new rules, once it gets past the 20-yard line, as long as it's not in the end zone, it's a live ball. Yeah. I don't know how he didn't know it. And then he didn't even go after it. The only guy that even came close to getting there was Jabril Peppers.
Yeah. The only other thing that I could think of was maybe he thought it was going to roll out the end zone.
But you've got to make sure it does.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. That and I will honestly say between that and the Calvin Austin issue with the interception, those are the two things that destroyed this game.
It's a 14-point swing and they lost by 14. So those two plays, I couldn't agree more. That is the difference in this game, is not getting that touchdown there and turning the ball over and then giving up that touchdown on a special teams play when you had just held them to a field goal. You're getting momentum back. You're trying to go on your drive to go ahead and tie the ball game. And, when they turned the ball over in the end zone, it was 14-14.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you're kicking a field goal there. You're going up 17-14 and getting the lead back. So these are just momentum and morale crushers when this kind of stuff happens. And it's tough to come back from that.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I do want to say, James, I was going to say exactly what you said about Gainwell and Johnson switching because it's not working. Currently, it's not working. And I understand wanting to make sure that you're utilizing all three of them to make sure that we're not being predictable, because we know what happens when we're predictable. Mm-hmm. So I get that, but I just don't think Gainwell getting as many touches as he's getting is being as productive as it should be.
Yeah.
I want to I don't know what his yards per carry or whatever.
I can tell you
that up. But I'm like, if this is week 2, I get week 1.
It's
side.
3.3 right now on the season.
And grossly skewed in the positive manner because of that 13-yard run in garbage time.
Right. So I feel like we should start making that switch. Like, this is week 2, you know, we said it last week. It's like week 1. Okay. Week 2, coincidence. Like, if we start to see the same thing next week, like, something's got to give with that.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I think it's time to put, Roman Wilson or Scotty Miller back there with Kenny Gainwell.
yeah.
Because they're just – every team is just kicking it to Caleb Johnson because they know he's
Calvin Austin back there, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little tougher just because
he's the number 2 as well.
Yeah, you really don't want him returning if you don't have to. But, just somebody. They're not going to intentionally kick it to him anyway, but at least that puts the ball in Gainwell's hands. And now you have somebody with experience returning kicks.
Correct.
As to where right now Gainwell's the lead blocker on all these returns, and it's not a good role for him. So,
well, seeing as how James's theory is, Johnson didn't know, but I'm hearing the talks of like, do you bench Johnson this upcoming week because of that big mistake?
No. I don't think you bench him, but I don't think you put him on special teams. I don't think you have him back there.
Yeah.
And that goes to because of the lack of success he's had even when he's been returning.
Absolutely.
And you make sure he knows that, hey, we're taking you off. Yes, you had a mental error. We want you to focus on offense. We're going to try to get you involved. Gainwell's not working. Allow Caleb Johnson to get involved. That's why we brought him in here. He's a third-round pick. Yeah. Like, third round is like the latest you pick, and I expect to see something in the season.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we can see something from him. And quite frankly, I mean, there's also the option of bringing up, depending on how you do stuff, we have Max Hurleman and Deshaun Jameson on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could bring one of them up somehow, some way, depending on injuries and stuff like that. And have one of them return with Gainwell. So,
or you could even go the Trey Sermon route, or one of the other running backs could be called up.
Lou Nichols.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a running back this upcoming week, because it looks like we're going to be without Alex Highsmith for another game now.
Yep.
Harrison's not going to be back yet, so you're down yet another linebacker body, and they're going to need a linebacker / running back type guy for special teams. So I would expect to see one of the running backs get promoted for this game. Yeah, him or Lou Nichols. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think Sermon's the bigger guy, and if you're trying to substitute for a linebacker, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking at the other receivers on this, Pat had a good game. It would have been much better had he made that catch on the deep down the right side of the field. He had 3 catches for 31. Yeah, right. Anu Smith had 4 catches for 27. The tight ends were very involved. Darnell Washington was targeted with no catches, although he doesn't count as a catch, unfortunately.
But it got points on the board.
It did. He got that 2-point conversion, which was very nice to see. A pass to Darnell. I don't know why we didn't do it more often, or still. Well,
they did it in training camp, or
Oh my gosh,
something like that.
Well, they did it the last 3 years in training camp, and then they never did it in the regular season. It's like, what are you doing?
Again, 6, 7, push them forward. Just let them catch the ball and fall forward.
And honestly, it needs to be utilized more frequently, not just because it's almost a cheat code, basically. There's not many guys that can match up with him and break that pass up when all he has to do is turn around and box the guy out. But eventually the evolution of that is once you're successful a couple times on it, they're going to start throwing a corner and a safety on that, which reduces the number of defenders inside the box. And now you can run in goal line. And I know that brings your 300-pound tight end out of the blocking equation, but it also brings 2 defenders out of the box.
Right.
So it gives you an advantage as far as the number of guys inside that box. And it's something that you just have to utilize. You got to be looking for mismatches where you have the advantage. Mm-hmm. And Darnell Washington is always going to be an advantage in short yardage situations like that. So use them. Don't make them run 20 yards downfield. Tell them to run 2 yards and turn around.
Yeah, literally. DK Metcalf finally got a touchdown catch, 3 catches for 20 yards in that touchdown. It was a very good touchdown. After he had a couple drops earlier in the game. Kenneth Gainwell, 3 catches for 16 yards. Roman Wilson got his first catch in the NFL for 7 yards, which unfortunately I think was on a 3rd down, and he didn't get enough for the first, which was frustrating. He also got leveled. Connor Hayward, 1 catch for 6 yards, and that's about it. So 215 yards receiving as a whole team, which is nice to see us over 200. But man, the Seahawks were almost 300, 295. So
And they
got to
beat,
figure out a way. What?
I said they beat us in time of possession too.
Oh, they killed us in time of possession.
Killed.
I don't know. I don't know what
Can't
what it
win.
was.
Can't win the game if you don't have the ball.
Yeah. Do you know what it was? Oh, 20. What? They actually wasn't that bad. I thought it was a lot worse. 31 minutes and 17 seconds to 28 minutes and 43 seconds.
Still beat us though.
They did beat us. That's true.
Yep. And it's kind of crazy because when you look at things from the Seahawks perspective, we talked about how successful they were throwing the ball in this game briefly. But as far as running the ball, Zach Charbonnet was their standout running back week 1. He has 15 carries for 10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
They literally completely shut down their number 1 running back. But Kenneth Walker, 13 carries for 105. He ran all over us.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there was just a concentrated effort when Charbonnet was on the field to attack and a little bit more relaxed thinking it was going to be a pass play if it was Kenneth Walker. I'm not really sure. But it's crazy to see such a stark difference of completely shutting down one running back and having him less than a yard a carry, and then the other guy doing so successful that he was almost 10 yards a carry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just a tale of complete polar opposites there. And I will say, I know we're not completely switching over the defense yet, but
we're almost there.
we're pretty close. I did like, as far as like the run stopping in this game, there were a lot of run plays that Pittsburgh stopped and kept them at or behind the line of scrimmage. And a lot of that came with penetration from Patrick Queen. There was some penetration from Keanu Benton in this game, which we saw none in the first game.
Yeah.
And then Cam Hayward, again, getting pretty well involved with 5 tackles in the game. When you don't have any sacks, 5 tackles means you're real busy against the run. So I felt like the run defense, even though they struggled against Kenneth Walker, was a step better than it was week 1 also.
Absolutely.
So our run game, a hair better than week 1. Our run D, a hair better than week 1. Got to tighten up that passing defense and the passing game.
Remind me again who's 94?
For us?
Yeah.
I think that's Y.A. Black now. I think he switched from 78 to 94.
Okay.
Oh, you might be.
He had a couple rough plays on the run where he didn't even move. Like the ball was snapped and he waited for the blockers to come to him, which was really frustrating. But no, let's not jump to defense too quick. I agree with what you're saying. We kind of went over our offensive line. I still think Broderick struggled a little bit. It was nowhere near as bad as week 1.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He didn't make my hate list this week. So.
There we go.
Didn't make your eyes bleed. That's good. But I think it's a baby step in the right direction for Broderick. I think he did a lot better than he did week 1. So if this continues at a certain point in time, we're going to have a game where we don't even talk about him, which is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the O-line did a little bit better job pass blocking, a little bit better run blocking as well. There were a couple of these sacks that I thought Rodgers just kind of like attempted to scramble and scrambled into a sack. That happened on one of the sacks on week 1 that, Broderick took blame for as well, where he just kind of like tried to get out of the pocket and went into a defender. But mini step in the right direction, but it's still got to be tightened up. I just feel like a lot of the pressures and hits on Aaron Rodgers in this game weren't as much on the O-line as it was the coverage was that good for Seattle, where Aaron had nowhere to throw and had to hold it for longer.
So I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's bounce over to the defensive side of the ball. There's actually it sucks because we played so poorly, but there's a lot to be excited about. I loved seeing Cam Hayward bat another pass, and then that turned into a Nick Herbig interception, almost returned for a touchdown. Unfortunately, didn't, but that led to the DK touchdown.
Right.
But I did love to see that. You love seeing these big guys get their hands up, and I asked for it. We were texting in our little group chat, and I was like, I want to see some big guys that get their hands up, and then it happened, so that was exciting. but on the defensive line, other than that, I mean, YA Black wasn't as dominant this game. I don't think he held his own for the most part. 3 total tackles. And then other than that, the rest of the line was kind of quiet. Like you said, Benton got some push, but it was really all Cam Hayward this game, which is
concerning. I think Cam took it up another notch in this game, so we got to see that, which is fantastic. YA had a couple of good plays, but again, didn't pop like we've been hoping to see him pop. And then very early in this game, Isaiah Loudermilk went down with an ankle/foot injury. That was in the first quarter very early. Also, Alex Highsmith in the first quarter very early went down. They're saying it looks like a less significant injury for Highsmith, not going to go to the IR. Loudermilk, on the other hand, was walking around in a walking boot before the game was over. So that might be a little bit more significant. We'll see.
Wasn't he also on crutches?
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, so that's a bad sign. But they do have 8 defensive linemen right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved to the IR and somebody else gets shuffled back up. But they also might wait a week or two and then see if maybe that's the time to bring Will Howard back.
Ooh.
Just throwing that out there.
Speculation.
Might start seeing some Esezi Otomeo not on the inactive list because there's nobody left. They're all hurt.
That is true. Bouncing out, I mean, sticking, we talked Loudermilk, we talked about some of the injuries, Alex Highsmith. The outside linebackers, I thought, played fairly well. TJ Watt, again, couldn't get to the ball carry behind the line of scrimmage, couldn't get to the quarterback. He struggled a lot, it felt like, to do what he's used to doing. And I don't know if this is blocking schemes by the offenses and they're doing really well, or if they're just scheming away from him enough. But I'm waiting to see TJ pop. I mean, TJ's 2 games in with no sacks. That's crazy.
What I can tell you, Cody, is that after 2 games, he's getting double teamed at twice the rate of Myles Garrett.
Oh,
twice the rate.
So you're saying he needs more offensive players to help protect their quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured. Just checking.
Yeah. So in what we did see in this game, TJ did get some pressure late in the game when they finally gave him one-on-ones, and he almost got a couple sacks in that happening. Also, I know we're going to talk about it as we should. Jack Sawyer getting his first professional sack, and he got it because TJ got triple teamed.
Yep.
The running back, the tight end, and the offensive tackle all went out to block TJ, which left Jack with no one. He came in completely unblocked and got a free sack. I understand that he thanked TJ after the play, so, as he should. But a strong showing for Jack Sawyer. I thought he had some good moments against the run and got that tackle on that sack as well. He just looks the part. When you're having a difficulty stopping the run, a guy that big as a rookie who's already that physical against the run is a wonderful thing. And it does make me wonder if we start going up against some teams that are real run heavy and Alex Highsmith isn't back still, if you don't start Jack Sawyer over Nick Herbig because he's tougher against the run.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
No, I mean, that's a very good option. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Then you just bring Herbig in as the refresher for both guys, which is going to put him on the field probably a little more frequently on third downs anyway, which is more likely to be a passing situation if you're doing well on first and second. So I think it might just be a smart move, but we'll see what happens. We've got the Patriots this upcoming week, and we'll see how their offense goes.
The Cheatriots?
I don't know who the
Patriots are, but the Cheatriots, I know that.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is I am so confident right now in our linebacker depth, it's not even funny. Like, that is the one area of this team that I'm actually confident in. To see how well Jack Sawyer played, to see how well Nick Herbig's been playing, and then even Peyton Wilson also getting his sack. And he almost had 2. The second one, he actually took out Herbig while he was trying to get to the quarterback, which I thought was hysterical.
Well, Well,
And we almost got a sack out of Patrick Queen, too. He had a clean
Mhm.
shot and just got juked out last second there.
Yep.
That I like that a lot better in this game. We finally blitzed the middle linebackers. Both of our middle linebackers are really good at rushing the passer. So let's let them do it. You
Yeah.
know, it's getting blocked up well when we run just 4 guys at the quarterback and nobody's getting in. Let's start blitzing these middle linebackers. They're both very good at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and
Remember
didn't
that.
both of them play injured at
Yeah.
one point during the game? Like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
both were out, and then
Yep.
they were in. And I'm like, you could tell with Patrick Queen that he was not exactly his full self, but he was trying. Like, you
Yep.
could see the effort.
I thought it was a shoulder until James said rib, and then I
Rib.
kind of figured it out.
Yeah, and then you saw him make a tackle, and he gets up holding his ribs, but goes
Uh-huh.
right back into the huddle and keeps on playing. You know, very
Yeah.
very tough. You know, he's at best case scenario, he bruised his ribs, but he might have cracked one and kept on playing. You never know. But you got to give the guy credit. He was very clearly in a lot of pain
Mhm.
and still was getting in on tackles on the other side of the line, and that's what I've been asking for. Is we're going to see these middle linebackers, you know, pick a hole and shoot through it and go hit the running back before he can get to the line. And Patrick Queen did that multiple times in this game, so I was real happy to see that out of him. And Peyton Wilson really showing off his pass rushing chops and getting a lot of tackles too. So I think steps in the right directions with those guys.
Yeah.
And you know, Peyton Wilson apparently was puking on the field. It was a heat-related thing for him.
Oh.
So at least we know that wasn't an injury. That's good.
Praise God.
But yeah, out there on the field puking while he's playing. So hats off to him for toughing that out as much as he could.
Hey.
Yeah.
Gotta drink some more electrolytes. My goodness.
Yeah. He probably got an IV at halftime.
Probably did. Bouncing out to the secondary, definitely the weakest link on this team right now. And it's kind of crazy to think about when you think about the depth we brought in. The injury to Deshaun Elliott hurt, and it hurts a lot. Bringing in Jabril Pepper will help, both with the injuries and I believe after the injuries. I think Jabril Pepper is a phenomenal player and an AFC North football player if I've ever seen one. And I'm very excited to see him play against some of these AFC North teams. But next week is against his former team. He's going to have another full week of practice. This will be his first full week of practice.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that he'll get some playing time because I think he can help that secondary be mean, be aggressive, and not allow these deep passes over the middle of the field. He's going to enforce that area a little bit, kind of similar to how Ryan Clark used to do. But again, going to the secondary that we had, we got burned early and often. I felt like I missed the beginning of the game, but you guys filled me in, and you know, our secondary getting burnt for that first touchdown sucked. And then it felt like Sam Darnold, who was drafted to the Jets, picked us apart, and that was very frustrating. And I don't know who to blame more in the secondary, but nobody in my mind had a good game other than the safeties with tackling. But as we talked before, with Minka having a lot of tackles, you don't want your safeties to have a lot of tackles. That means the ball got to them.
Right.
Yeah, and I felt like the safeties were never really in position to help break up a play. They were never in position to help a corner when a corner got in a bad spot. You know, a couple of times early on, Jalen Ramsey was getting beat when he was covering Jackson Smith and Jigba out of the slot. Just a difficult matchup as far as how athletic and how good that guy is. Jalen made up for it with some nice plays, getting an interception, getting a hit that caused an incomplete pass. So I felt like it was a very hot and cold game for Jalen, although he did get beaten coverage a few times. He kind of made up for it with the pick and the hit. I felt like it was a better game out of Darius Slay. You really didn't hear his name much at all. Seemed like he was not the target and not the guy getting beat this game. But we got to get more help out of that safety room in the passing situations because teams are just throwing wherever they want to without Deshaun Elliott out there. And let's hope we can get Joey Porter back, because I think even if Jalen Ramsey gets back into that safety room a little bit, we'll see an improvement with him back there as well. But definitely excited to see Jabril Peppers get out there, because I do think he'll be an upgrade over Chuck Clark at this point.
Yes.
I agree with you there. I'm looking up something real quick to see I don't find this stat. I thought there was a stat I was looking for, but I don't see it right now. I do want to shout out Zach Frazier on his tackle. That's nice to see that get involved.
If we're going to shout out O-lineman, there was a play too, a run play up the middle where Mason McCormick got a hold of a linebacker and was driving him almost out of the end zone. Almost turned into a fight, and I kind of like it because when you get the opportunity to bully a defender, you better do it.
Yeah.
So we did see a little bit more physicality out of the offensive line, and Mason McCormick definitely a guy who's got a little bit of nasty in him.
Special teams wise, we're gonna bounce there. We already know what it is. Boz for president, 3 for 3 on field goals.
Dang right.
0 for 0 on extra points because we didn't kick any. Which is fine. We got the 2-point conversion.
Right.
Yeah, Corliss Waitman on the punting was 4 for 221. He had some good punts.
Yeah.
We just couldn't cover as well as we have.
Yeah.
One monster punt they returned to midfield. I'm like, come on.
And he had one go through the back of the end zone too. So I felt like it was a good day as far as his distance and hang time. Just coverage kind of let him down, and that one going in and out of the end zone. You'd rather get that down inside the 10 if you can. So that was something that we knew going into this, though, is that Waitman isn't as big of a placement guy, but he's got the bigger legs. So you're going to get some of those booming punts, but you're also going to have some of those instead of being down at the 10 going into the end zone.
Right.
Yeah. We talked about Caleb Johnson and Kenneth Gainwell with their kick returns. We're not going to get into that again.
Nope.
No.
Overall, I feel like this is going to sound weird for me to say, James, because I'm always mad about when it comes early, but the bye week can't come early enough.
It somehow is a blessing already.
It somehow is.
Yeah. This team is so injured already after 2 games, and it's almost all on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
There's like no injuries almost at all on the offense, and we've got 4 or 5 starters down already on defense, which is just scary. So it makes me excited, though, for what we'll see the game after the bye week, because I think by then we're going to have Derek Harmon and Deshaun Elliott back.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joey Porter Jr., if he doesn't play this upcoming game, will play the game after. And you might even get Highsmith back again by then, too. And if that's the case, it might be the first time that we have our entire starting defense fully healthy. And then you get to bring Y.A. Black in as a substitute instead of a primary guy, where he can have a little more energy on these plays instead of having to be out there for 30 or 40 plays and really being worn down by the end of the game. So we might really start clicking after the bye week with all these guys coming back from injury at the same time.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it works out well.
Maybe even Will Howard.
Listen, I don't
want to. I mean, I don't want to get to the point where we see Will Howard, because I want Rodgers to stay vertical and not hit the ground. I mean, what he's now was 7
sacks in 2 games.
In 2 games.
Yeah.
He's 41. That's not sustainable.
No, that's why Ben didn't have as long of a career.
Like we want to make a real push, but we have to keep him vertical.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We also got to keep him off the field. Like, well, I guess we want to keep him on the field.
No, we want to keep him on the field.
Yeah.
But we want to keep him handing the ball off.
That too. We want to make it so that's able to happen.
Thrown it 30 times.
Correct.
The one thing I was going to say even about that, like I've emphasized my desire to see Will Howard play. But they were talking about it on one of the sports shows recently, and I don't remember which team they were talking about, but one of the teams in the NFL has a younger quarterback that they want to see play, and there's an older quarterback playing, and it's not the Browns. But for the life of me, I can't remember. Huh?
Saints, maybe?
Maybe.
They've got the rookie and Ritter's starting, but Ritter's only been in the league a few years.
No. Oh, it might have been the Giants. Yeah, it's Giants and Jackson Dart.
Oh.
And Russell just had a freaking career game.
Yeah,
he did.
Insane.
Which is huge for us. Let's touch base on that real quickly. If we're going to get these 3rd round compensatory picks, we need Russ to play and start at least half of the games, and the same with Justin Fields. So as much as you don't want to look at these guys and say, oh, man, we never should have moved on from them, we need them to at least be good enough to start half the year.
Justin Fields only looked good because he played us. He just got his butt whooped by the Buffalo Bills. They lost like 30-3.
And he got injured real early in that game too, I believe, and he's going to miss some time now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna say this. They were talking about how it was Alex Smith being interviewed and talking about this too. And Alex is like, a lot of the success Patrick Mahomes is having is because he got to sit back and watch as Alex played and got to learn things before he got thrown into it.
Yeah.
And so I'm hopeful that Will Howard gets to relax a little bit and watch and doesn't get thrown into it right off the bat. But we'll see how it goes.
Right.
Again,
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I guess, there was talks of, because Mason is the one who finished the game. So,
Which I hated that.
Well, do we know the status of Aaron's wrist?
Yeah, we do know.
Going on with that?
Yeah, we don't know. And it didn't look fantastic. I mean, he did complete a couple passes after injuring it.
Yeah.
So that's good at least. I don't think he broke a finger or anything, but it did look like he jammed up that wrist/hand pretty good. So
yeah, on a Seahawks helmet. Let's touch base with those injuries real quick. Alex Highsmith, ankle injury. Isaiah Loudermilk, ankle and foot injury, was within a walking boot. Patrick Queen dealing with the rib injury, continued to play. Peyton Wilson with the heat-related illness, threw up on the field, continued to play. James Pierre dealing with an arm injury. And
did come back in, and then
Aaron Rodgers with that hand and wrist injury. We will get an update on that tomorrow with the Tomlin interview. But all very concerning injuries, especially because five of those are on defense. 6 of those? 6.
Yep.
No, 5. 5 of the 6.
And all of them started at one position or another. I mean, James Pierre is a starting gunner.
Yeah. We said we had Jalen Ramsey being a gunner at one point.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know if you saw that or not.
You don't need him doing that.
Nope.
No, we do not.
I wasn't sure if you saw that because you didn't say anything to the group. I was like, I wonder if he just saw that Jalen Ramsey was the gunner on that play.
No, I missed that. But who else are you going to put out there? Brandon Eccles?
Yeah, really?
Yeah. You're not going to put Slay out there.
No, absolutely not. But we will hopefully have more to talk about with injuries and stuff on the next show. Again, we'll be looking forward to the Patriots game. That show will be a Saturday morning record. So expect that early Saturday morning to be ready for you guys to listen to. We can't thank you guys enough. Praying a speedy recovery for Nick from his illness. Praying that Jill can see tomorrow when she wakes up. And praying James has a good day at work tomorrow, and that I have a good time celebrating my girlfriend's birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Can't thank you guys enough for being here. Be sure to like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Don't forget the 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Make James very happy.
And
until next time.
Our sponsor, Cody.
Give
a shout out to our sponsor.
Edinburgh Hotel Bar. Don't forget to check them out. I can't believe I forgot that.
I got you.
In this episode. Real quick before we go.
I was trying to think of creative ways to get into it, and then
You did good, Joe. You did good. Supporters for Steelers by the Lake include Edinburgh Hotel Bar at 100 Meadville Street in downtown Edinburgh, providing a variety of lunch and dinner items every day, along with full-service catering and private party accommodations. Details are available at 814-734-5103 or online at edinburghhotelbar.com.
Until next time, this is your host, James, Cody, and Jill, signing off.
Peace.
Steelers by